In this video, we are going to talk about Tao or Bittensor, some of its recent price action, the important support and resistance areas, and where we can expect the price of Tao to go in the next few days and weeks. So we'll look at the weekly chart, and what you can see right here is that in the last couple of months, Tao has broken down below this crucial support area that I have talked about in the last few videos. Tao's holding the support area at around $300 for a few months, and then a couple of months ago, back in November, broke down below it, started dumping very significantly, and then got some support off of this next support area at about $215, got a pretty significant rally, and then in the last couple of weeks started dumping again, getting rejected off of basically the same area that used to be support earlier in 2025, and now Tao is approaching the support area once again. Of course, the dump in the last couple of weeks came in correlation with Bitcoin also getting a dump and struggling quite a bit in the last week or so, and now the question is whether Tao can create a new higher low right here, or potentially a double bottom, and continue to hold this support area and then potentially get a rally all the way back up to the next resistance area, maybe even across it, or if it will just continue dumping, continue its downtrend from the last couple of months, and continue dumping a lot further, potentially even creating some new all-time lows. It's not that far off the all-time low at the moment, and with such a small market cap volatile coin like Tao, a move like this from where it is at right now all the way down to the all-time low at around $150 can happen a lot quicker than you might expect. We've already seen Tao go from over $500 all the way down to just over $200 in just a couple of months, and this happened very recently. So if we start seeing Bitcoin continue dumping, potentially getting all the way down to its previous low from back in April at around 75k, Tao can dump a lot and get to a new all-time low very quickly. But then again, at the other hand, it can also get a very significant rally very quickly. So in my opinion, the two levels to look at right now for Tao are, first is this one at around $210. If Tao breaks down below it and closes a weekly candle below that area, then it will likely continue dumping a lot further, at least to this next support area at around $180, which is basically the last support area for Tao. But if it can actually create a higher low right here and cross this previous local high at around $300, then it can actually reclaim this channel that I was in for a pretty long period of time back in 2025, and potentially even head all the way up to this next resistance area at well over $400, and this could lead to a rally of nearly 2x from where Tao is at right now. So both scenarios could lead to a very quick and explosive move for Tao, and these are the levels to look at and be aware of if you're holding Tao or planning to get into it, at least in my opinion. In my opinion, the scenario of Tao rallying is a bit more likely because Tao has been doing fairly well in the last few weeks, and also I think that it's a bit more likely that Bitcoin will continue its relief rally sometime relatively soon and potentially head to over 100k rather than it continuing to dump, at least sometime in the next few months. And of course, Tao will likely have a very strong correlation to whatever Bitcoin does, but I still think that both scenarios are very possible and the probabilities of both are pretty high. So of course, this is not financial advice whatsoever, but I would personally wait for confirmation of whether it breaks down below this area of around $210 or if it breaks above this area of about $300. And until one of these things happen, I would personally avoid getting into Tao. Also because just in general at the moment, I think that most altcoins will not do so well and likely underperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. For the altcoin market as a whole to start sustainably outperforming the top assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, we first need to see Bitcoin and Ethereum themselves doing very well, getting at least close to their all-time highs, and likely they would need to even cross them. And at the moment, with how relatively poorly Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing and how much fear there is in the market, I think that it's very unlikely for most altcoins to do well. Of course, there can be some exceptions, but I'm not fully convinced that Tao is going to be one of those exceptions. And for me to get into an altcoin at the moment, I would need to be a lot more convinced, and I would need the structure on the chart to be a lot better. I'm just not really seeing that with Tao right now, and I would first need to see the breakout confirmation, as I said. Again, this isn't financial advice whatsoever, it's just what I personally think, but I think that generally you should be pretty cautious with altcoins at the moment, and there are some much better looking altcoins in the market right now. So I'm definitely going to keep looking at Tao and following the price movements, but I'm going to continue to avoid being into Tao right now. Again, not financial advice, but yeah guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it and you want more updates about Tao as well as other altcoins, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.